Ever feel like you're, dragging old suitcases around with you? In relationships, I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
Y-
You mean emotional baggage. We've all got those suitcases, some bigger than others, maybe.
Right. And sometimes the suitcases, they feel way too heavy. Today, let's unpack them. Let's deep dive into how that baggage from our past can impact our relationships now.
And how to move forward. Not just like generic relationship advice, but actually understanding how those past experiences, they kind of shape us.
Totally. So not just slapping on a band-aid, but figuring out how to really build healthier connections.
Exactly. And, it's important to remember right from the start, this isn't about pointing fingers.
Oh, for sure.
We all have emotional baggage, right? It's part of being human. It's part of living and learning.
Like those souvenirs you pick up along the way. Some are great, some not so much.
Exactly. Think of it like those invisible suitcases we all carry. Past loves, heartbreaks, disappointments, you name it.
They make us who we are. But do they have to dictate our future relationships? That's the question. So where do we even begin?
Well, the first step, and it sounds simple, but it's huge,
Hmm.
is acknowledging it's there. Like recognizing those suitcases you're carrying.
Acknowledge the baggage. Don't just trip over it in the dark. I remember this one time.
Yeah.
I was getting so anxious, like obsessively checking my phone, waiting for a text back. And it hit me, this wasn't really about this relationship. It was this old insecurity,
Yeah.
you know?
And just seeing that, right, naming it, that's huge. It can really change how you react. Like, let's say you're someone who tends to get jealous easily.
Happens to the best of us.
Right. Instead of just getting, swept up in those feelings, acknowledging, okay, this might be linked to something from my past,
Yeah.
that can be so powerful.
It's like instead of being in the thick of it, you're kind of observing it from a distance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that distance, that awareness, that's where the good stuff happens.
Okay, so we're acknowledging the baggage. What's next? Do we just unpack all this stuff on our partners?
Not necessarily. Communication is key, yes. But it's not about like dumping everything on a first date.
No emotional baggage dumps, please.
Right. It's more about building trust and intimacy over time. It's about sharing what feels right when it feels right.
So, how do you talk about this stuff constructively? Any tips?
This might sound a little therapy-ish, but statements can be really helpful.
Okay, I'm listening.
Instead of saying, you always do this, or you make me feel, you could try, I feel insecure when that happens because it reminds me of, and share a little bit about your past if you feel comfortable. It shifts the focus from blame to understanding.
So much of this is about perspective, isn't it?
It really is. It's about recognizing those patterns and understanding where they're coming from. And that leads us to, you guessed it, healing.
Okay, everyone loves to talk about healing, but what does that even mean?
It doesn't have to be some big dramatic thing. It's about processing and learning from those past experiences. It's about self-discovery, becoming more aware of yourself, your triggers, your needs. And it's a journey, not a destination.
People hear healing and they picture therapy and like retreats and all this stuff. And look, those can be great.
Yeah, they
But
pack
it can also be simpler than that, right?
Absolutely. It can be as simple as starting a journaling practice, spending time in nature, just doing things that make you feel good. Connecting with yourself. Even small, consistent actions can create huge shifts.
That's good to hear. So we're acknowledging the baggage, we're communicating about it, and we're on this journey of healing. Where does patience fit into all of this?
Oh, that's huge. Patience with yourself and with your partner. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It's not linear. It's messy. There's setbacks. It's all part of the process.
It's like we're so quick to tell ourselves to get over it or expect others to just bounce back.
Right. But it doesn't work like that.
Right.
We all heal at our own pace.
Mm.
And that's why empathy is so important. Creating a space where both people feel safe to show up authentically with all their baggage at their own pace.
I love that. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Acknowledging, communicating, healing, patience. What about this thing called projection? Honestly, this one always kind of tripped me up.
Yeah, it can be a tricky one.
So break it down for us. What is projection in relationships?
Basically, it's when we take our own unresolved issues, our past hurts, and we kind of unconsciously project them onto our current partner.
Oh, I've totally been there. You think they're going to act a certain way because someone in your past did.
Exactly. And it can really sabotage a relationship, even if your current partner is like the complete opposite of your ex.
Classic example, and no judgment, but if you've been cheated on before, it might make you extra suspicious in your current relationship, even if there's no reason to be.
Exactly. That's projection at play. And it's not about blaming yourself. It's about recognizing those patterns and making a conscious effort to see your current relationship for what it is, not through the lens of your past.
So much wisdom. To wrap things up, it seems like managing emotional baggage in relationships boils down to a few key things: acknowledging our past, keeping those lines of communication open, being patient with ourselves and our partners as we heal, and being mindful of projection.
I think you nailed it.
And here's a little something to ponder, listeners. If understanding your emotional baggage can transform your romantic relationships, imagine the impact it could have on all your relationships, friendships, family, even your relationship with yourself.
Love that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. It's been real.
See you next time.